Thank you, Eric. You can hear me, right? Okay, distinguished experts, dear customers and guests, ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. On behalf of TBEA, I would like to extend my welcome to all the experts, customers, and guests, and my most heartfelt thanks to all the staff of the organizing committee for their hard work. After more than 20 years of development in the field of PV power generation, China has advanced technology and rich experience. The new energy industry is one of the strategic emerging industries of TBEA. We have established the strategic plan with integration services and manufacturing as their two wings and focus on our core products such as PV inverter, TSVG, power router, energy storage, etc. We have developed the ecological platform, SCADA, EMS, and other systems utilizing big data and artificial intelligence. We provide services such as optimal LCOE solutions, the comprehensive layout of PV power, wind power, a smart microgrid, and flexible DC transmission, and so on. As one of the earliest companies engaged in the R&D and manufacturing of inverter in China, we have a full range of inverter products serving more than 1,000 PV centralized or distributed power stations with a total installed capacity of 30 gigawatts. Our SVG products serve to provide system solutions for frequently changing loads such as the new energy power generations, steel plants, rail transit systems, and so on, with a cumulative capacity of 6 GW. Our smart microgrid system relies on our independently developed world's first power router, supported with key products such as energy management system, central controller, energy storage system, and so on, to provide microgrid solutions for industrial and commercial parks, data centers, islands, and areas without power supply. We have provided 90 megawatt PV inverter for Algeria's SKTM company with a high reliability, highly appraised by the customer. We have also provided water-cooled SVG products for PV power station in Saudi Arabia to optimize the power quality. We have 20 residence offices around the world with our business covering more than 20 countries and regions, including India, Pakistan, Saudi Arabia, and Vietnam. TBEA is willing to work together with you, share our technology and experience in large ground-based PV power station, promote the wide application of clean energy in the world, and better promote the development of the world's green energy industry. TBEA has an R&D base in Xi'an. We welcome all of the experts, customers, and guests to visit TBEA Xi'an Industrial Park. We believe your visits will be worthwhile and rewarding. Finally, I wish this virtual customer event a great success. Thank you all. Enjoy this afternoon. Mr. Eric, give the back to you.
Well, thank you, Mr. Chu, for your inspiring opening speech. You know, product and technology innovation have become an important driving force in promoting the development of the new energy industry. I believe that TBEA's continuous breakthroughs in the technical field will also arouse much interest and expectation from the whole new energy industry. The inverter has always been TBEA's key major business. What makes a TBEA inverter the best choice for your intelligent PV system? Let's invite Naveen Jangra, Marketing Manager of TBEA India, to tell us the whole story of TBEA's inverter family. Naveen, please take the floor.
Thank you, Mr. Eric. A very good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Myself, Naveen Kumar. I am from TBEA Energy, and I am responsible for technical sales support for international market in TBEA. Today, I will discuss about the PV products and the solution which TBEA is offering. Let me share my screen just a second. The basic agenda of my PPT is I will give you insight about the products which TBEA is offering for the global market for the PV solution. And the first topic which I'll cover is innovative PV power system, how that new technology innovation can help us to get a better LCOE. We think there are four blocks to get LCOE. LCOE means levelized cost of energy. The first fundamental block is equipment selection. Equipment selection is like PV modules, solar inverters, and the transformers. Like we have seen in the last 1 decade, there are several changes in the market. Like we are shifting from low voltage solution from the higher voltage solution. Earlier we used to have 600 volt PV system. Then we moved to 1000 volt PV system. Now we are using 1500 volt PV system. So again, by shifting the technology, we are enhancing the efficiency level of our PV plant. That is most important thing in a PV plant, the equipment selection. Second one is block design. Like as I told that we have seen several changes in the industry. Nowadays, the AC block sizes in the PV field is getting increased day by day. Earlier, we used to have PV block of 1 megawatt or 2 megawatt. Now we are using AC block sizes of 10 megawatt and 12.5 megawatt even. And that too with higher DC-AC ratio, means the DC overloading has been increased substantially. The third one is structure optimization. Structure, there are several kinds of structure available in the market, like single axis tracker, dual axis tracker, and seasonal tails. So by this way, we can optimize the structures to get a better generation, or you can reduce the LCOE. And the fourth, but the intelligent operation and maintenance for the big data cloud and calculation digitalization. That is for the communication system which TBEA is offering. I'll give you the complete LCOE by which we can, TBEA products can reduce your LCOE by 7%. The first one is TBEA Power Swing Inverter. TBEA has developed this PS208 kilowatt inverter in 1500 volt technology. This inverter is the biggest swing inverter in the world market, and it is giving several benefits to the customer, like higher efficiency levels. We are reaching up to 99%. And it also gives smooth grid access, means in the weaker grid, because generally the PV plants are installed in the weaker grid sections. So there, the grid access is very, very important for a PV plant. So this inverter gives you an advantage that it can connect to the weaker grid also. Of course, smart O&M, it can be connected, it can give IV curve scanning, monitoring, diagnosis features, and it can be connected to a tracker devices to control. And of course, it has some auxiliary power which can be given to a tracker to run, operate. The last one, safety and the reliability. This product is being tested with different stringent IC or UL standards, by which you make this product more safe and reliable to use in the PV system. Coming on to the higher DC-AC ratios, as I mentioned in my previous slide, we have seen the changes in the market. Now we have shifted to higher DC-AC ratios. How DC-AC ratio can help us to reduce the LCOE? Our products, like as I mentioned, our products can help us to get higher LCOE reduction. In the left hand side curve, you can see there are two curves. One is in yellow, second one is red. Yellow curve is showing the DC-AC ratio with 1:1, means your PV capacity is equal to your inverter capacity. Means there is same, the capacity is same. In that way, we are not utilizing the inverter to its fullest capacity. But in the red curve, we are showing when the DC-AC ratio is increased more than 1.2, then you can see the curve is extended, means the generation is extended. You are able to get maximum output from your fixed PV asset. And in our inverter, right now the PV technology is also changing, bifacial module system and the PV capacity, module capacity has been increased 440. Now people are talking about 500 watt peak also. Our inverters are capable to handle these PV modules. Then inverter can support higher DC-AC ratio, and inverter do have 12 MPPT channels, which can support 36 number of DC inputs. Moving on to the friendly grid connection, I have divided this part into 4 sections. The first section, like as I mentioned, that in today's scenario, we are using DC-AC ratio more than 1.5, where in the peak time, we will be losing some power which is more than the capacity of the inverter. This is called as clipping. So how we can save this clipped energy to store in the battery? Our inverter have that capacity, means we have a DC-DC coupling feature in our inverter by which we can save this clipped energy to store in the battery, which can be used later on for the grid smoothing and grid support features. Second one, support extreme weak grid access. Like I mentioned, that inverter is capable to support the weakest grid in the world where the short circuit ratio is around 1.5. Third, the active harmonic suppression. Inverter have the active harmonic suppression scheme. Fourth, in today's scenario, as we are talking about the higher PV module capacity, our MPPT can support up to 30 ampere for catering these kinds of high power PV modules. Safety and reliability. By testing our inverter and different stringent grid codes, like our product is tested for IP grade of 6.6, means this product is dust and waterproof. It can be utilized and can be used in different harsh environments, and it also passed the corrosion grade of C5. If we talk about the DC Arctic monitoring, this inverter has that monitoring feature as per the UL standard 1699B. And of course, this inverter supports the IV curve monitoring and diagnostic feature, which can reduce the LCOE by 1%. Talking about intelligent monitoring of IV curve, our system, our inverter, and IV curve monitoring platform can scan 100 megawatt of PV plants within 5 minutes of time without any generation loss, and the accuracy level is 1%. And if you refer the IV curve which I have shown at the bottom, there are 6 types of curve which we can achieve when there is some problem in your PV module. By doing the IV curve scanning, we can identify which kind of faults we have in our PV module. Like I mentioned, first number is step curves, second one low current, third is low voltage, fourth is smooth band, fifth is D slope, sixth is increasing slope. Let's discuss about the point number 2, low current. When we can get these kinds of curves from PV module when we are doing the IV curve scanning. It can happen due to certain faults like ash accumulation on your PV module, or dust accumulation at the sink, at the bottom of the sink, or some module defragmentation. So these kinds of faults you can identify using this IV curve monitoring feature. The last one is intelligent operation and maintenance. As a company, apart from inverter, we are providing a complete operation and maintenance platform for the customer. Starting from the bottom, on the right hand side picture, at the bottom we are showing PV plant equipment, which is PV modules, inverters, transformers, substation, and the grid. Out of these, we are supplying string inverters, and our string inverter is capable to handle different kind of communication. One is power line carrier communication, second one RS-485. Moving ahead to the second layer, where we have data acquisition, data logger. TBEA also provides the T logger, which is known as TBEA data logger, where we can interface all your PV plant equipment to a single data logger, whether it is inverter, your transformer, your MV switchgear, or weather monitoring system. So all can be interfaced with a single data logger of TBEA. After data acquisition, we collect the data at T logger, then move to a upper layer, equipment monitoring and the data analysis. TBEA has its own solar SCADA platform, which is known as Solar Watchman, where we can see we can monitor the complete plant equipment at a single window. So that is we have with us, and then for the performance analysis and the evaluation of your product performance, we have a platform that is known as Solar Analyst, by which we can do the IV curve scanning and performance analysis. And the fourth one, big data analysis and mining. we have our platform that is known as Solar Captain, where we can analyze the performance of different plants. In case if you have more than one PV plant and you want to compare the performance of these plants at single platform, the Solar Captain is the platform where you can monitor or you can analyze the performance, whether it is performing well or underperforming. And then we do have a Solar Consultant mobile application which can be used remotely. And of course, we also have TB-eCloud system. So these kinds of operation and maintenance assets can reduce your LCOE by 4% and the generation will be increased by 2%. This is all about the string inverter solution. Moving ahead for TPS central inverter TC3125TF. It is a high density product with capacity of 3.125 megawatts. Depending on the application or the requirement of the customer, we offer the appropriate inverters. Generally for ground mounted projects where you have smooth land, undiluted land, we can use the central inverter. The benefit of this 3.125 is it can give high yield. How you can give high yield? All our inverters are based on modular design. When I say modular means you have a redundancy. Second thing, all our products are multi-MPPT based. More the number of MPPTs, less will be the mismatch losses and the generation will be increased. That is how we can give better generation than the conventional inverter in the market. Second, save system cost. It's a standard 10 by 10 feet container, which is very easy to transport from one country to another country. Plus the installation, it's very easy. There is no need to make civil room. It's very easy to operate and maintain. All the components in the inverter is placed very beautifully so that it can be accessed from the front only. There is no need to go inside the container and do any kind of maintenance. The fourth one, grid support feature. TBEA develops all its products for the global market. Means it can be used in different markets. So meeting the different grid code requirements is very important. So our product meets the different grid code requirements in terms of your active power, reactive power, LVRT, HVRT, primary frequency response. All these features are inbuilt in our inverter. Moving on to the skid solution. This 3.125 megawatt container can be used in skid solutions also. Skid solution means we are providing a complete ITS solution which includes inverter, transformer, and the MVC switch. This can be used where the project timelines are very tight and the manpower is very difficult to get. So this kind of solution is a plug and play solution. It can reduce time and the cost. Moving on to the second topic, the smart microgrid. As a company, we have a complete range of microgrid solutions also, starting with our energy router. We are using an advanced technology in our energy router. In this energy router, we have a bi-directional system. Like we can convert into AC into DC and DC into AC. And there are three types of conversion happen in this TBEA energy router. AC into DC, then DC to DC, and then DC to AC. It's all, so by using this kind of technology, we are eliminating the transformers in PV plants, by which we are able to get the higher efficiency level around 98% with AI optimization and the high integration. If you talk about the economic benefits of this product, is it can reduce the energy consumption by 2.5%. As we are eliminating the transformer, your losses are already reduced. Of course, this product can increase the IIR ratio, that is investment return ratio will be increased by 1%. And also the initial investment, the capital investment will be reduced by 10%. And as it is a box type product, the construction period will be reduced also. Now, where we can use these kinds of solutions? It can be used in different industrial and commercial parks, in the green towns, and in the data centers. Then energy storage system. We are providing a complete solution, a box type solution which includes some batteries. You can say it's a cell cluster, which is number of battery modules installed in the cell cluster, plus BMS, that is battery management system, and the PCS, the power conditioning system, which is a bidirectional inverter. And all these three equipments are clubbed in one container. So it's again a box type container for the customer plug and play solution. And By using these types of solution, again, we can reduce the commissioning period by 10%. And of course, you can use multiple PCs in the parallel operation with seamless switching, and there will be a 20 milliseconds of switching time. So it's very, very less. And applications where we can use these kinds of systems to like peak shifting, we can use in the frequency regulations, in the dynamic capacities, and we do have battery cell and battery module. So we are providing the complete solution for the energy storage system, including battery module, BMS, and PCS in a box. Moving on to the SVG and STATCOM. SVG is known as static var generator. Static var generator is generally used for improving the power quality of your grid and for the grid reliability, you can say. TBEA have a complete range of SVG with the voltage level starting from 3.3 kV and it goes up to 35 kV. And the capacities we have from 1 MVAR and it goes up to 120 MVAR. Depending on the requirements, we can provide the voltage level as per the market requirements or the customer requirements. And in SVG, we are using two types of water cooling, two types of cooling system. One is air cooling, second one is water cooling. Depending on the environment or the conditions, we can propose the right SVG solution to the customer. Now, where we can use these kinds of solution? We can use this solution in PV power plant, wind power plant, transmission substation, offshore wind power, and metallurgical plants. So these are the major application of this SVG. Now we have discussed these three topics in my PPT. First one is the generation side, where we are providing PV inverters. In the transmission side, we are providing static power generator, or you can say STATCOM. And in the distribution side, we are providing the complete energy storage system, battery energy storage system, PCS, and the energy router. Now, in order to operate and maintain these all the three equipments, we have our own communication system, TB-eCloud management system. And for managing the energy this distribution system, BESS, we also have TBEA energy management system. Now, we will talk about the typical applications of all these kinds of products which we have shown in this PPT. First, I'll talk about who are we. TBEA is a diversified business portfolio. Like we are into power transmission and distribution industry, we are into new material industry, we are into traditional energy industry, and we are into new energy sources industry. Basically, new energy sources industry is the one where we are belong to. Means the PV system comes under this new energy sources industry. Just a brief synopsis of the inverter portfolio we have. We have several kinds of inverter starting from IPS solution in 1000 volt as well as in 1500 volt. In 1000 volt, we have a solution with 2.5 megawatt capacity, which includes inverter, transformer, and energy switches. If you move on to 1500 volt solution, we do have 3.125 megawatt container solution, that is IPS, then 5 megawatt and 7.5 megawatt. And all these solutions are including transformer, inverter, and the MV switch here. The last one is 6.25 megawatt with 3.125 megawatt inverter. Moving on to the container solution, we do have 1500 volt container solution with capacities of 3.125. If we talk about the central inverter in 1500 volt technology, we have three ranges starting from 2.5 megawatt, then 3.75, and then the biggest one is 5 megawatt. One of the biggest inverter available in the market with 5 megawatt capacity. Again, coming on to the SIM inverters, this is 208 kilowatt inverter, 1500 volt. Again, it can be used in utility scale projects. Global applications. TBEA is present in 4 continents of the world, including Europe, Africa, Asia, and America. And the installation base of the inverters, we have more than 30 gigawatt of installation across the world. And if you talk about the SVG installation, we have more than 6 gigawatt of SVG installed across the world. First, I'll show the applications or the installation we have done with different environments in the world. In Europe, we have our inverter installation. In Africa, we have North America, South America, and Asia, of course, with different countries like Vietnam, China, Pakistan, Thailand, India too. Now moving on to the applications for SVG and STATCOM. Like we have installation for a wind farm in Turkey. We have installation for a PV plant in Saudi Arabia. We have installation for a solar plant in Pakistan, China at higher altitude, Australia chemical plant, and then offshore wind farm 61 MVR. And of course, one of the metallurgical plants will have a SVG of TBEA. Different applications for the microgrid system. First of all, I'll emphasize on our microgrid system which we have installed in our factory, that is in TBEA Xi'an. We have installed our complete microgrid system, 1 megawatt capacity in our TBEA Xi'an factory, where we are utilizing it for its internal uses. Second one, we have microgrid project, DC microgrid project in Zhuhai, Zhejiang. We have AC-DC hybrid microgrid project in Dongguan. We have installation of energy storage system in one of the PV installation, Quangai, Gold Mud. So these are the applications or the installations we have with all our products and PV. Thank you. This is all from my side. Over to Eric. Thank you.
Okay. Well, thank you, Naveen, for sharing that excellent information. Very enlightening. Now, at present, the international business travel and on-site factory inspections seem quite difficult. But will this stop us? Of course not. TBEA always has a solution for you. And for the following step, we will take you on a virtual factory inspection to get to know how an inverter arrives at the site. Mr. Wang Jianguo, will you please take the microphone?
Hello everyone, welcome to TBEA Xi'an Industry Park. This is the R&D and manufacturing base of TBEA that catered to core equipment such as PV power generation, power quality management, battery energy storage, and microgrid solutions. Covers an area of 18,000 square meters. Mainly produces PV grid-connected inverters, STATCOM, energy routers, battery energy storage solutions, and other key equipment for renewable energy, with inverter annual production capacity of 10 gigawatt. TBEA Xi'an Industry Park is equipped with the self-consumption PV power generation system, PV energy storage, EV charging station, and Industry Park's loads together from the generation, grid, load, storage, and charging microgrid projects, which had reduced the park's energy cost by 30% and verified a steady and economic operation of the combined system of renewable energy and storage systems. We're going to enter the dust-free intelligent workshop now. According to the factory's regulation, we need to have the appropriate protection via the shoe covers. Isolation shoes are required for production line workers and R&D engineers in the power-on area. And the air shower room in the dust-free workshop can reduce the air pollution caused by workers entering and leaving the clean room. Now we come to the digital manufacturing workshop. And now we can see the big screen of data integration of the informatization system. We implement the information of production and project location, product progress, production records, and master production progress information. When the materials arrived, we need to check whether the appearance is rubbed, bump. Check the quantity. We will check the material for inspection according to different types randomly. During the inspection process, we will check the incoming material size and specifications according to the data in the database, and conduct power-on testing for materials that require power-on testing performance. And after testing, the materials will be put into the warehouse. Here is the intelligent warehouse. In order to ensure the efficiency and the capacity of the warehouse, the whole process of intelligent warehousing had been applied. The warehouse uses WMS management system and MES ERP data to achieve refined and intelligent management of materials. Now, the warehouse can accommodate up to 400 mega of materials, and the maximum daily output is up to 100 mega. This is the AGV Intelligent Transportation System, which is used in conjunction with the MES material system. Through the point-to-point material demand relation system, automatic material distribution can be achieved. This is the PCBA processing area. This area is with constant temperature and humidity, and having the strict anti-static requirements control. Before entering this area, all need to wear anti-static clothing and can only enter after the body is discharged. We have moisture-proof, salt spray-proof, mold-proof coating production lines for PCBA. and integrated automatic welding equipment for IGBT and other important components, greatly improving production efficiency and the product reliability. Our PCBA uses PCBA automated tooling test system to test the data and performance of the board. The agent test of the board will be carried out uniformly after the data and performance test. First, we're going to the workshop of the string inverter. Now we can see the assembly line of the string inverter. According to the product assembly, testing, aging, and packaging, the area is divided and the supporting equipment is constructed, having a production capacity of 10 mega per sheet. Now come to the centralized inverter workshop. From design, we have adhered the modularized design concept. For power module part, heat dissipation part, capacity part, all adopt the modularized structure. Now we can see the production line of the modularized structure in the module production process. The core process, such as IGBT assembly, is equipped with an automatic mechanical arm to complete the assembly, ensuring the assembly quality of the core components. The following is the centralized inverter production line, which can achieve a daily capacity of 30 mega in a single shift, through single repeated working mode in production line to guarantee the quality and the reliability of the production assembly process. At the same time, the production process is supported by an information management system through which the process data can be traced and recorded. Inverter agent test platform, which can simulate high temperature and low temperature simulations for PV inverters, and can support 12 sets of inverters for agent test at the same time. Here is the SVG module agent test platform to ensure the quality and the reliability of our SVG products. A single module will be tested and aging verified before the whole product is debugged. So we will test the single board after the module is assembled. We carry out the voltage and full power aging test on the single module. The platform can realize the water cooling module test up to 10 units at the same time, while for air cooling modules, it can be 12 units at the same time. Here is the SVG agent test platform for the complete product. As SVG is a high voltage product, we cannot introduce it closely when it's under testing. When the assembly of SVG is completed, it will run on the full load agent for 16 hours on the basis of the basic functionality testing to verify and ensure product reliability. Here is the 3.125 solar inverter and its inverter transformer station solution. It is one of the most popular products that we're having now for the international market. All our products have been designed with hoisting devices to improve the efficiency of hoisting and avoid the collision of products during installation. Now the products to be shipped are SVG and the 3.125 ITS solution. Dedicate green energy and create a better life with the goal of equipping China and the world. TBEA will continue to make unremitting innovations based on customer needs. It is determined to become a global outstanding green smart energy service provider.
Okay, that was a wonderful tour from inverter research and development to design, production, internal display, and packaging to delivery. We have had a long tour already, so let's have a short break for an interactive session. Now on your screen, you will see several survey questions. Please help us by ticking the answer you like the most. Your answers mean a lot to us. So Joyce, will you please show us the poll? Okay, question number 1. Are you satisfied with the overall smart solution designed for you by purchasing TBEA inverters? Pretty straightforward. About performance of the inverter, which are you most concerned? The warranty, the efficiency, the intelligence, the DC-AC ratio. Question number 3. What do you think of TBEA's PV inverter? It's a top brand with reliable quality and trustworthy, efficient and reliable with high earning rate, good after-sales service, low price with high cost performance. Let us know what you think. Your opinions are very valuable to us. Easy questions, easy questions. Hope everybody's having a good day online. It's a beautiful day in Shanghai. It's a special day here. Does anybody know what the day is here? It's May 20th, which is 5/20. That's the Chinese Valentine's Day. 5/20 in Chinese is Wu Er Ling, which means in Chinese it says, it sounds like, well, I love you. And we love you. We love our customers and our partners worldwide. So happy Chinese Valentine's Day to everyone. Everybody working on the questions there. We really do value your opinions. It's very important to us. Be honest. Don't hold back. We want to know what you have to say. And remember also that standing by in the discussion area are our technicians. If you have any technical questions, any concerns, they're there. They're ready for your questions right now. So please don't hesitate. Go right ahead and ask them. They want to help. Everybody finishing up now? Are we good? Okay. Let's see. Now, thank you everyone for taking the poll, and your answers help us improve. Now we're going to move on to the next part. Now, I hope some interaction has cheered everybody up. Let's move on to the next step. We have speakers talking about PV inverters, and now let's discover the interesting AI world. How does TBEA integrate this most up-to-date technology to its traditional PV business, and how will that benefit TBEA users? Let's welcome Zhongyao Wang to present his opinions on how to achieve AI-dominated digital operation of new energy plants. Mr. Wang?
Thank you, Eric. Can you hear me clearly?
I can hear you.
Okay, let me share my presentation. Okay. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I am Wang Zongyao from TBEA, coming from ecloud team responsible for software solution and development. Let me share something about how to achieve AI-dominate digital operation of new energy plants today. So today we have 3 chapters in my presentation. The first chapter, I will talk about what our team did in the last few years. TB-eCloud is a brand of TBEA and also the name of our team, serving for new energy, specializing in all data service solution and software product development. Starting in 2013, we started from the Research Institute of TBEA with the development of the solar operation and maintenance system for the use of our own PV plant running by another department of us. As the need to increase power generation and improve O&M efficiency increase, we are constantly conducting software development and digital technology research. We launched the TB-eCloud remote operation and maintenance monitoring platform in 2016, and from then started a new journey of our team. Subsequently, in 2017, we launched the PV SCADA system 1.0. In 2018, we developed an energy management platform. In 2019, we completed the development of TB-eCloud Enterprise Asset Management Platform. But today, I will not mention much about it. We have achieved level 3 for CMMI as the maturity of software development. We have cooperated with the Xi'an Jiaotong University and formed a joint laboratory for cyber physical energy system, which we call it CPES for short. We also have many other partners to develop products and research algorithms together. In addition to using our own software platforms and products internally, we also sell our products and solutions to all parts of the world. At present, our system have accessed a total of 5 gigawatts of new energy power stations. We are trying to bring new technologies to the new energy plant, such as industry, Internet of Things, cloud computing, big data, blockchain, and artificial intelligence. Let's see Chapter 2, what we can provide as our solution. Solar Partner Solution is one of our main data service solutions for solar plants. You may already see this picture in the presentation from my colleague Naveen. Let me tell you more about it. You can see that we can provide all the 4 layers of the product in the slide. For communication technology, we can provide the easy and fast way to connect equipment from PV area. We provide standard protocols for communication like Modbus, IEC 104, and in this year, we are planning to support IEC 61850, both MMS and Goose, which is the more faster than the other protocol and can be used for great fast frequency adjustment. The third layer you can see from the bottom to top is actually the main control room of the PV plant. We are offering Solar Watchman and Solar Analyst, which you can see them as a whole package, like the traditional SCADA system, but a little bit smarter. The combination can expand the function to check the data from the app in your mobile phone also, and provide more useful information that will help the power station staff to improve their work. The fourth layer, we are providing our star product, Solar Captain, the TB-eCloud intelligent O&M platform that's operation and maintenance for PV and wind power plants, which also works with an app. We have built an industrial internet platform through various communication technologies and computing technologies, starting from collecting basic data of the power station, performing data cleaning, filtering, storage, and then deployment multi-dimensional data analysis. The platform can be expanded to various types of application, thus provide various ways to help operation and maintenance work more smoothly and more efficiently. Through data analysis and various applications to find the defect just in time and reduce the duration of equipment failures. This can greatly improve the revenue of power generation and quickly expose the problems that were hidden in the darkness. Here are some feature applications like the comparison of panel cleaning, the power prediction, the data analysis function. You can see the 4 triangle that may prove the revenue by almost 3%. Solar Watchman is an intelligent PV SCADA system. This system is deployed in the main control room, locally in the PV plant. It monitors all relevant equipment and provides energy management service with many kinds of communication protocols in which Modbus and the IEC 104 are mostly used in PV plants. The equipment of various manufacturers, including inverters, transformers, and switchgears, can be seamlessly connected to our system. Critical information such as network topology and equipment conditions will be clearly displayed in the human-machine interface. Solar Analyst is a software that's located in the main control room in a solar plant, working as one package with our Solar Watchman SCADA system. This system focuses on the data analysis and is based on browser server architecture for more refined human-machine interface and analyze result display. With TBEA-made string inverter, Solar Analyst provide fast IV curve scanning, data analysis function, which my colleague Naveen already mentioned before. Through data mining, the low efficiency device in the solar plant can be colored in the user interface, which helps the people in the plants to quickly locate the problem. With multi-dimensional decision analysis, one click, and then it can export the health report intelligently, show how good the plant is running. Then you can see from your report, like your health report. TB-eCloud operation and maintenance platform can fit all the scenario of solar plant, including large-sized and distributed PV plants. We can provide flexible business models to meet any customer's requirement, like you can have your system in your own self-built data center, or choose some public cloud service such as Amazon, Google, or Microsoft. The data security will be fully taken care of to make sure the data assets of the customers will be safe. We built our system using big data cloud computing technology. The system can display the information of the power generation capacity of all the power stations under the group, the completion rate of the power plant, the real-time operation data of the power station, the monthly average daily equivalent ranking, the comprehensive efficiency ranking, the successful completion of the power generation plan can also provide in-depth understanding of the detailed operations data and operation and the maintenance of each power station. This will guide the efficient operation and maintenance of each power station. For microgrid, like scenario like industrial parks, island, and the college campus, we provided the whole solution, like from the design from the very beginning to the end. That is the maintenance of the microgrid. But here I want to say for software part, our solution's goal is to reduce the basic capacity cost and the electricity cost and increase the whole revenue. We have some product like the microgrid SCADA system, microgrid central controller, and the energy management system, which are used for one single microgrid. We also provide the energy management platform, which can manage multiple microgrid sites, just like our new energy O&M platform for solar and wind. That's the same. This platform supports to monitor all kinds of essential elements in a microgrid system, such as solar, wind, battery, diesel, and all kinds of load like street lamp, charging pile, and air conditioning. With the fast development of the Internet of Things technology, possible data collection can be carried out in the microgrid so as to carry out a detailed energy consumption analysis. Through data mining and BI, the system can provide effective improvement suggestion with real data support and lower microgrid operation and maintenance cost. This will increase the customer's benefit for real. Okay, the third chapter is, let me share something, how we use AI to help the new energy plant. The first one, our system provides AI technology, which can filter and analyze massive data. Combined with the power station alarm information, it can automatically locate the faulty equipment, initiate and generate the working tickets. The operation and maintenance experts accept the working order for fault diagnosis to repair the fault. And eventually, this information will also be recorded in the system so that this kind of information experiences is formed in the database for the next diagnosis. For the next diagnosis could be more precise and intelligent. We provide more than 20 KPI for solar application, including the system level KPI, like a PR value, on-grid hours, some values about the loss-related index, like inverter loss, the metal voltage transformer loss. Also, we've got inverter-related KPI, like the load rate, the inverter efficiency, Chinese ones and the European ones. Through this one KPI, you can see some data clearly. And also through our AI data mining technology, the system will show the result of the comprehensive analysis of various indicators telling whether some power plant is running on the right track. Are there any indicators that reflect some problems that we need to check the true reason in the back? Like, in some group, we can see they always ranking the PV plants by PR value. It's very important ones, and we can see that in our system directly. We know which could have been damaged by stress, pressure from stepping on the panels, or incorrect installation. Usually, the plants need to be scanned with the infrared camera annually. while the legal requirement is to scan like 20% of the plants, which is not optimal. But with the drone technology, when the drone equipped with the thermal infrared camera, it can be used for solar plant inspection. The thermal infrared camera detects the thermal infrared radiation energy to obtain the image of thermal distribution field of the target object. Using this feature of thermal infrared imaging collecting and analysis can be performed on solar panel components to find the high temperature abnormal area of the panel with AI image recognition technology. And then, combined with expert knowledge-based rules, we can find and locate the defect points quickly. For most power station, when to clean the PV panels of the power station is really a problem. If they are washed frequently, the cost will be higher. But if they are not cleaned in time, the power generation will be lost due to dust accumulation. So what we do is first, we establish the model of dust accumulation loss and periodically analyze the data, the array power generation history data to estimate power generation loss due to dust accumulation according to time. At the same time, it's necessary to consider the future weather condition. For example, like whether it will rain or not in the next 10 days. It's just like the car wash. It's also necessary to consider the actual cleaning cost, which is also very important. So then we use the data accumulation model, the weather forecast information, and the power plant cleaning cost as the input. We use the fuzzy neural network to determine the power plant cleaning revenue, according to the principle of maximum benefits of the cleaning panels. Then the system will recommend the best cleaning date or the best cleaning cycle to the people in the plant. Another thing is accurate solar power forecasting is very important. It can reflect the expected power generation situation of the PV plants, which can help to increase the stability of the power grid system and give a better chance to participate in the electricity sales market. In China, if the accuracy of the power prediction is not good, the plant will have to give money to the government. It's kind of fun. We cooperate with MC China, who is the leading expert to predict the weather. The algorithm combines the history data and forecast the data of weather with the solar power historical data through data cleaning, machine learning, and multi-sensor data fusion algorithm to increase the accuracy of the power prediction. For right now, this algorithm has been actually applied in more than 40 PV plants. According to the developing trend of the microgrid, more and more new energy is combined with the microgrid, which is full of opportunity and challenges. We have also been engaged in technical research on microgrid control and new energy management algorithm for years. In the user side, new energy and load system power prediction is similar, but a little bit different from the large scale ones. It's more difficult and to make accurate prediction. But if you want to better control the microgrid, you need better prediction and precise control. We use multiple AI algorithm to do the self-correction, multi-time scale power prediction. The method can predict the power of solar and load with an overall accuracy rate of over 85% in our real industrial park project. AI-driven energy management system and intelligent decision-making algorithm can not only improve the power quality, but also optimize the energy usage by nearly 5% in the same project we use. The time is so limited. I'm glad to share this information with every one of you. But any friends who are interested in our solution or want to talk about the related technology, please ask your questions in the chat area. So next, please welcome my colleague Xialu to take you to visit our group's a remote centralized operation and maintenance system. Please welcome.
Warmly welcome to TB-eCloud O&M Platform Operation Center. As you may know, the main business of TBEA Sunoasis is the construction and operation of new energy power plants. By now, over 5 gigawatt capacity is monitored. Please now turn around. This screen shows the main web pages of the platform. Now what you see is the homepage of TB-eCloud platform. In the middle, it shows us the distribution of all the power stations which are connected to the platform. Above are the basic data such as the quantity of the plants, real-time power, and on-grid capacity. The left part is the operation KPIs. We can find the daily, monthly, yearly generation, and the completion rate. At the bottom, we see the society contribution, such as the reduction of carbon dioxide emission. On the right part of this page, we can find the ranking of all the stations, such as the ranking of PR and yield hours. And if you click on the icon, we can enter the single station homepage. This is the single plant inspection. In the middle is the operation monitoring of the main equipments, such as the string inverters, DC box transformer, and step-up substation. And the curve below shows us the comparison between the actual power and the irradiance. The left part is the monthly and yearly generation and the inverter status. And on the right part, it's the completion rate, dispersion rate. The data refreshed every second on station side. The screen we see refreshed every 5 seconds and uploaded to cloud at a frequency of 5 minutes. Besides the basic monitoring, we have done a lot of work at data analyze, such as monthly generation analyze, inverter load rate analyze, plant utilization rate, IV curve analyze, PV panel cleaning analyze, and also drone monitoring. Although these power stations are scattered in Xinjiang and Gansu provinces, we can still monitor their operation in nearly real time. With the assistance of this platform, operators could reasonably schedule the operation and maintenance work, which secures the smart operation and maintenance. Thanks.
Okay. Seems PV and AI have quite a lot of chemistry. Now, for our next session, it's going to be quite interactive. We will invite TBEA's partners and customers to our webcast to have a dialogue together to tell us how did they react to PV investment and installation in regions under COVID-19 impact. Now I'm going to give the floor to Mr. Tiger Liu, Regional Director of Europe and America. Mr. Liu, could you please take the microphone?
Thank you, Eric. Can you hear me now?
I can hear you.
Yep, thank you. So hello everyone, I'm so excited to be the host of Dialogue section today because we are honored to have those gentlemen with different background, with different expertise. We're sitting at different corners of the world discussing one topic, PV solar investment and the installation in regions under COVID-19 impact. So first, please, let me introduce our distinguished guest, Mr. Ahmed Ben, Regional Manager of MENA of O&M Power. Let me see you, Ben. And Mr. Marat Kuhanov, General Director of Kazakhstan Tech Energo, Samruk Energy. Mr. Cormac Gilligan, Associate Director, Solar and Energy Storage at IHS Markit. And Mr. Ahmed Mezo, Senior Legal Counsel of EMEA Power. Mr. Mahfouz Kazi, Director of Energy Department, Government of Sindh, Pakistan. He also plays a role as Director of Sindh Solar Energy, funded by the World Bank. The last one is Mr. Gao Sen, Deputy Director of Structured Finance, Bank of China, Sydney branch. Okay. Hey, Maisel, I see you. Yeah. So thank you all for being our panelists today. Hope you guys and your family are going safe and well. You know, I don't know how many of you guys are back to the office already or still working from home. Yeah.
Well, as far as I'm concerned, actually, I'm still working from home. It's a long hour.
Yeah, and I'm sorry making you dress up at home. I'm not sure you're wearing shorts or pajama, you know, with out of a screen. Yeah.
I'm wearing 3-piece suit, actually, as you can see. You know?
So let's come back to our topic today: solar PV investment and installation. You know, in regions under COVID-19 impact. As we know, epidemic outbreaks of COVID-19 has caused a serious economic disruption in the past few months. Although in this case, a greater impact is expected than in other occasions. So COVID-19 has caused a huge disease, huge a decrease in industrial production, in the retail activity. We see data like 10 to 30%, even more in the world during Q1, and all major stock markets around the world have decreased by like 30% in 2020. So good thing is that the impact of COVID-19 for power industry seems in lower middle range compared to other industries and activities. So let's see what's happening in those regions and countries. So let's start from Africa, because A starts. You know, let's lend a question to Ben Ahmed Ben from Amir Power. He's in charge of North Africa, especially focused in Tunisia and Morocco. Just tell us how's going on in North Africa. You know, I know you are working on a project in Tunisia, and you are going to have a conference call after this event with IFC. Would you tell us more on like FDI, if they required more on your financing close or any negative consequence in your project or in the region? Ben?
Yeah, hello everyone, and thank you for inviting me to this very interesting webinar. So I'm Ahmed Ramadan, Regional Manager for EMEA Power, in charge of North Africa. So I mean, in fact, I'm covering mainly Tunisia and Morocco, where we have an ongoing project with including with TBEA in Tunisia. We are proud to say that we won together 100 megawatt solar PV tender last summer, and projects are this project is still now moving as the Tunisian authorities, despite the fact that we had a bit delay during the first period of the lockdown, but now we have engaged the banks, and the discussions are ongoing with the local authorities, and hopefully we will be able to say that the project documents will be finalized and signed within a couple of next weeks, with the start of construction beginning of next year. Hopefully this pandemic will be over very soon, and we will have the opportunity to be able to gather together and have these discussions face to face. And so same situation in Morocco. We have a project under development, which is now near to financial close. And same experience as we faced a delay in the beginning of the pandemic, and now, I mean, business is again, I mean, on track, and we are working on video conference and emails, I mean, online and from home, to continue the financing work, the permitting work, etc. So people have, I mean, we're able to adapt their I mean, habits and their way to work in order to continue moving forward with this project. I mean, the only issue that will be probably facing is during the construction phase, in case the COVID will still be here, and the lockdown measures will be still in action. I mean, I'm taking the exemption of Tunisia, where, I mean, last week the government decided to stop progressively the lockdown. So now I mean, constructions and workers are back to work, and are, I mean, so we are seeing a new dynamic in the market right now, and the Tunisian authorities have expressed their will to continue pushing their renewable energy program, and progress more on the self-sufficiency strategy, as they are relying a lot on oil importation. So same for the Moroccan agency, Solar Energy, Mazen, that is about to launch a new tender for solar PV and battery storage facilities. I mean, we think that opportunities for new projects are. We didn't face any situation where current IPPs have been stopped, or, I mean, where force majeure cases have been activated, like we've seen in other countries, like Jordan, for example. So we are quite happy that the local governments, I mean, have managed to ensure the stability of the renewable energy market so far, and hope they will continue on the same path.
So it seems there's no any delay, you know, of public administration from the government. So you know, the Morocco or all of the countries in North Africa will keep their, like, 2 or 3 years, even 5 years energy increase plan. Everything will go well, will be well, right?
Yeah, actually, I mean, as I said, I mean, we faced some delays in the beginning of the lockdown, which is quite normal, because, I mean, the administration has to, first of all, manage other priorities, and also they need to reorganize their way of working, because, I mean, they are quite, let's say, they're not very technology inclusive. They don't have this technology inclusivity, so they need to certain time to adapt themselves of new meeting platforms, and you know, document exchanges, etc., etc. So it took a few weeks, and then they came back, I mean, to the normal speed.
Okay, sounds great. Sounds great. Thank you, Ben. Thanks for your effort. Yep. let's move down to a little bit to the north and the west of Africa. So Meso, you have like very diversified background. You used to work in EBRD as a legal counsel, and you're working as IPP, independent power producer of EMEA. So you have better, you probably have a better position, to illustrate, what you do or what happened in West Africa. I know you are developing some project in the signing PPA there, right?
Yes, correct. Yes, correct. Absolutely.
Yeah. So how's going on there? You see some problems. We would like to know some positive thing. Yeah, we know some good thing happens, but some positive thing like PPA terms or financing terms changed. About investor debt or even the delay of public administration. Yeah, please.
Yeah, well, thank you very much, Tiger. It's a pleasure. It's a pleasure actually being with you today, actually, on these panels and attending this outstanding session with outstanding panelists and outstanding attendees. And I can see a very, very excited attendees actually on the chat, actually on the chat icons. So thank you very much again, actually, for having me with you today. Look, coming back to your question, actually, I would say the key issues that we really noticed since the beginning of the outbreak crisis, it can be summarized as follows. First, access to the site and access. The key issues, for example, which the parties may face in projects are the access to the site to access a multitude of risks. Sometimes we also face highly quoted prices for materials and equipment. We also noticed to some extent, the lenders' commitment of funds and their ability to adequately assess the risk could be challenging, because lenders don't really have today a great visibilities on what's going to happen next. So they can't really assess the risk because they can't really see the extent actually of the crisis and what would be its consequences on the short term, medium term, actually on long term. We have to bear in mind that funding for IPP is a long term funding with a tenor of actual maturity of 18, 20, or even actually more than actually 20 years. So lenders and the credit committees behind, they will need to be certain about actually the risk profile actually of the project, so they can code their pricing actually accordingly. The other thing, for example, the other issue actually also is the ability to put in place a well-defined regime to deal with the consequences actually of COVID-19. And also, what we also actually notice is that the difficulty in bringing all project parties and advisors to come online and work towards meeting hard deadlines and structuring the project. As you pointed out from the very beginning, most of the people actually are working from home, so working online. So sometimes it's really challenging to have everyone logged in and everyone actually working. Having the advisors, the lawyers, the bankers, the off-takers, the governments, and actually the power developers and stuff need to be all on the same page and on the same actually pace. So they can deliver. So look, what we noticed is that the disruption caused by COVID-19 actually has created a situation which resulted into delays in meeting key construction and work milestones. And specifically, for example, if I can quote, for example, West Africa. If I can quote selected countries actually in West Africa, well, actually, as you can know, there were the containment measures, shutdown of borders. So again, construction actually, was suspended for a certain period of time, which legally, legally speaking, actually could have several, I would say, several nasty consequences, like penalties, liquidated damages, and loss of incentives and stuff. So here, actually, what we saw, for example, is that developers and off-takers, if their objectives are aligned, may attempt, to pass the liability and consequences actually to contractors, seek reliefs, or reschedule project milestones. And that depends mainly on actually how robust the project documents is. And the other issue, the other issue actually, which really goes which really goes beyond the just actually the contract and the necessity actually to achieve a certain milestone, like construction milestone, actually to reach commercial operation dates and stuff. Is that strategically speaking, also what we noticed actually across the board is that the coronavirus has created a situation where demand is not actually as high as it used to be before. And also, it happened at the same time with a crash in oil prices. So with the demand going lower and with oil prices actually also going low, some countries may rethink actually their strategy towards renewable energy, may rethink actually the energy mix actually objectives, and they might be tempted actually to go with fossil fuel generated electricity rather than keeping straight on their objectives of achieving a certain quota actually of renewable energy, like in the energy mix. So it's quite challenging. It's quite challenging actually in terms of, I mean, from a both strategic perspective to a more focused perspective on on the contract, and also on the impact of COVID-19 on existing projects. From a financing perspective, actually, I would say at some point in time, actually in March and April, we noticed that there was a low interest environment, but at the same time, the appetite of lenders, were a bit was a bit squeezing, because the lenders actually find it a bit difficult to assess adequately the risks. But again, what we noticed, for example, from the markets and the takeaway lessons is that operators they tried actually to ensure, I would say, they tried actually to meet two objectives with regard to existing actually facilities. First is to ensure a better liquidity for projects under constructions, and second, to improve the project actually capital structure. So for example, developers, they were trying to draw the maximum of any uncommitted and disbursed facilities, as long as this is still possible in the face of increasing volatility created by COVID-19, and also trying to inject equity to enhance liquidity and assess the net debt position for the purpose of testing any financial ratio before the reporting time. For improving the project's capital structures, I would give two examples here. In terms of managing the debt liability, where, for example, an IPP may consider reducing the debt burden through a debt buyback, or what we also actually noticed is that the obtaining of financial information, quantifying the consequences of COVID-19 as part of the reporting obligations of actually developers under the finance documents were a bit challenging. So these are the what we saw actually since I would say since actually mid-March.
Okay, it seems some of the investors, will move to some probably just a little bit higher return region, after COVID-19. We're in some short, time window. Do you think the West Africa will have the better pro for most of IPP and investor to go in now, or?
Well, I would say, I would qualify actually my response to this. I would say it all depends on how. It all depends actually on how the situation actually in West Africa, is going actually to evolve. So if Western African countries actually could manage to overcome, the COVID-19s and the consequences actually of COVID-19s, and to break the curve actually of the disease, then I think it's going to be actually business as usual. Because West Africa, again, we have to bear in mind that the market today actually has become very, very competitive, very, very competitive, and very competitive with a lot of pressure on tariffs, with a lot of pressure on pricing. Even if, for example, nowadays we see financial institution given the low environment interest rate, but it's not only about pricing; it's also about actually assessing the risk itself. So let's say, if the demand actually in West African countries it's going actually to come back to normal, and if the COVID-19 curve actually is going to be broke, then I think investors' appetite actually will remain the same, and business actually would come back to usual. Because again, in terms of IRR, basically, you know exactly that. The IRR that you can achieve today, in Africa, West Africa is not the same actually it's not the same actually IRR that you could try to achieve actually in, I would say, like in more developed jurisdictions, and there is a lot of competition and massive competition actually from big players, especially on this component of state utilities, IPPs. So I think I'm quite actually optimistic. In case, as long as we can manage two factors, I would say, the supply and the demand, and the COVID-19 actually consequence in terms of health consequences and health actually situation there.
All right, great. Thank you. And so for all of attendees and participants, if you have any question in relation to West Africa, North Africa, Asia, Pacific, like Australia, Pakistan, Kazakhstan, you can leave the message or question at our chat area. We apologize, we cannot make everybody control the microphone or have the position due to the system limit. So let's move to Asia. Let's invite Mr. Kazi. Mr. Kazi is Director of Energy Department of Sindh, Pakistan. Sindh is one of the most iconic, province in Pakistan supporting renewable energy. So tell us what's going on there. Any impact on investment or investor, even installation in current? Mr. Kazi.
Thank you for hosting such a webinar. And Sindh province has lots of the renewable energy potential that we are working. You will understand that after 2 years of the time, we have our 15 wind IPPs who achieved their financial close, and they are working for in construction period to determine their projects come into online by March 2021. All these 15 projects, because of this post-COVID situation, their physical construction works were stopped. And the most critical problem was our national grid transmission company, who has the EPAs with them. They announced official force majeure for all those wind projects that were in construction phase, because their transmission line construction works, they were also disturbed. But thank God, we have a lockdown, complete lockdown for 7 weeks. Now lockdowns, construction industry and other industries, there is a relaxation in lockdowns. So we are open. We have in province of Sindh Solar Energy Project that has a $100 million funding from the World Bank. This project has 3 major components. The first one was the 400 megawatt on-grid power projects, solar projects through competitive bidding. Everybody listening?
Thank you, Mr. Kazi. Thank you. I appreciate your participation. Let's move a little bit up to Kazakhstan. A lot of people in 2019 have put their eyes and nose in Central Asia, in both Kazakhstan and Uzbekistan, because it's pretty active in there. Some project with PPA, even a merchant price with pretty good radiation and windy speed. So let's invite Mr. Marat Kuhanov from Cathedral Energo Samarkand Energy. Tell us what's happening, or what you feel, or what are you experiencing in Kazakhstan. We know some issue about tenge, local currency tenge, because of the oil price going down, and some project under construction or has to be extended or file some more force majeure. So what happened in there? Do you think that will cause something bad for coming IPP tender? I mean in autumn or later this year? Marat?
Oh, hello, Tiger. Are you listening?
Yep.
Hello to everyone. My name is Marat Bukhanov. I'm from Samruk Energy Company. Let me introduce you briefly on the situation with COVID-19 in Kazakhstan. In March, created the operational headquarters of the State Commission on the state of emergency of the country under the President of Republic Kazakhstan. This kind of full name, usually we say just a State Commission. And the State Commission made operation decision on the further actions of the government and other state bodies to ensure the state of emergency. So in April month, the decision of the State Commission, chaired by Prime Minister of Republic Kazakhstan, Mr. Mamin, decided to extend the deadlines for submitting certain certificates for the operation of renewable energy facilities for a period not existing 1 calendar year. So it was good information to all 71 projects which are running in Kazakhstan now in renewable energy. Coming back to your question, I will say a couple words about the situation in Samruk Energy. What happened now? So during the energy period, it's about 11 confirmed cases were recovered at the enterprises of Samruk Energy. By this time, 2 employees recovered and the rest are still in quarantine. Hopefully everything will be fine. Now the situation is coming back to the normal situation, and maybe the next month we will continue our project in the south of Kazakhstan when the borders between our countries will be open and the equipment, everything will come in. Thank you very much. Tiger?
Yep. So one additional question, because Kazakhstan has closed or shut down your territory at the beginning of the outbreak. So there's, as far as I know, there's no any like labor from outside, for example, from China, or equipment from China to keep the construction well. As a one of the largest operator and utility in Kazakhstan, are you going to present something to Minister of Energy to push like some project with PPA to be extended or some deadline to be extended?
Yes, we have a project we already received decision by Prime Minister of Republic Kazakhstan. They're going to extend for all the projects which are running in Kazakhstan 71 for not existing for 1 year. So it happened close to, in the future we will extend the PPA contracts. And yeah, the borders between the countries are closed, and this fact has already negative effect to the progress of the construction of the project, and particular there are delays in the delivery of the equipment. But I think will be, for the next couple of months, will be everything fine.
Okay, because the oil and gas price are going down dramatically, in the past month. Do you think like the government of Kazakhstan will keep their, renewable energy plan for coming years, or, I mean, just a forecast, or let's just discuss. Do you think the government will change their strategy?
It's difficult to say. Like maybe yes, maybe yes. In my opinion, yes, but I'm not sure. Let's see what happens for the next.
Okay. Thank you. Yeah, thank you. So next, let's move to the south of the world. Let's go to Australia. Let me introduce Mr. Gao Sun. he's a deputy head of structured finance, Bank of China, Sydney branch. And, he has another role, like Mr. Gao is a mini blog writer in WeChat, and actually I've been a fan for like a long time. I can learn a lot of things, from Mr. Gao. So Mr. Gao, tell me something about what happens in Australia. So another question, like we look forward to having you from your side, like Australia as one of a merchant market. So we would like to know more about what are you facing to for your the power pool price, even if the all of the commercial entities they shut down in past month, or if the COVID-19 lasts for a long time, the power demand will go down for sure. So what's the merchant price will be changed, or is there any uncertainty in Australia from your perspective, Mr. Gao?
Thanks, Tiger, for inviting me to the webinar. I think regarding the COVID-19 impact on the electricity market, I think Ahmed from North Africa actually, I shared most of what he mentioned. He already well covered in this topic. For in electricity market, like national electricity market in the eastern seaboard of Australia, we see in the first quarter. It's quite really a little bit bearish. We define 3 lows: so low electricity price, and low demand, and low gas price. But of course, we believe that's a kind of short-term spike in the market, because as you know, in the Australian electricity market in the eastern seaboard, as you mentioned, is a merchant market, and it's sort of free bidding market. So my personal view is that the lower price is largely driven by the bidding behavior of some of the fossil fuel plants, largely to push out the gas power plants, usually because gas plant is the marginal generator in the pool. So first quarter, I think it's still too short to make a judgment. But regarding renewable, we see actually a market is still moving forward. The entities here, developers, IPPs, are still quite ambitious about the renewable project. Just within recent months, we will still see hear some public news about big project coming to market. So, for example, in Queensland, some like 200 megawatt and above solar projects have been announced, either entering the development stage or ready for construction. And also some big battery projects has also announced in the market. So we see that the project is still going on. But I share one of the points that Ahmed has mentioned, probably because some of the project are kind of if you call binding by the key timeline. For example, if you secure some PPA, there's some kind of hard timeline that they have to abide by. So they have to push the project anyway. But we see potential delay factors for project is in the development, also construction stage. For example, like access to the site, and the other I see is to have delayed time to secure secondary approval. For example, if you want to start commence construction of your project, you need to secure certain secondary approval from local council governments, and that part of the world is moving quite slowly because people can't have kind of face-to-face meeting. And some project, when they reach the final stage of completion, they also have delays in the final completion. So that's how I see the COVID-19's impact. Or another thing on the financing side, I think Ahmed mentioned North America market is a long-term financing, but it's quite different to the North American market. Or Australian project finance side for renewable is really a mini-perm market. So it's a short to mid tenor financing market. So some of project, if they have to go refinance during this sensitive period, I should say there's a little bit of uncertainty, slow process, and possibly increase in the funding cost. So that's what I see in the current impact.
Okay, thank you. And one more question, like I saw a data, like Australian market has been the 4th or 5th largest market in 2020, followed by the US, China, India, probably the Netherlands. So as a manufacturer of PV inverter, this market is pretty critical for all of the people except SMA, I think. So a lot of manufacturers, even Huawei, Sangro, they spend a lot of time to be approved by AEMO and going through the GPS. So what you think? The COVID-19 or potential increase of installation in Australia, they will filter strictly to PV inverter, or they probably will be more friendly for most of the brands. Yeah.
I think certainly there's some positive signs in part of the Australia market. For example, in called the West Murray area, defined by Australian Energy Market Operator, and those areas, solar projects have suffered from delay in grid connection and also in starting construction due to a longer process by AEMO. But recently, we see some encouraging signs that 5 actually solar projects have been, if you call, partially released from curtailment by AEMO. And luckily, I think those 5 projects they use OSMA inverter. And so SMA, I think, spend a lot of time in dealing with things. So I see for manufacturers of inverters, definitely is a challenging market, but there still is opportunity. A lot of projects, if they are in the weaker part of the grid area, for example, recently, I think northern part of Queensland has also been announced by AEMO as a potential area of curtailment. But I think some manufacturers have innovative kind of approach to deal with the clients there. If they can step in early stage to work with the clients, with AEMO and with the network service company, I think that will be the opportunity, because I see now the grid connection, or if I define the software part, has largely become the deciding factor in securing your order, rather than other like marketing products or kind of things. Another thing is on the battery side. I think a lot of now battery product has been promoted also in the pipeline, and they all also needs inverter. But I see that will be a more demanding side, so they may demand various kind of functions on the inverter side for the battery. If they can provide frequency ancillary service, inertia, they call SIPs, voltage stability issues. So I see it as a multiple complex requirement for the inverters. But I see there's a big market here. Yep.
Thank you. Very comprehensive comments and thoughts. Thank you, Mr. Gao. Last one, let's invite Mr. Cormac Gilligan, who is from IHS Markit. I don't have some questions for you because you're consultancy. We're all learners, want to hear something new or physical info from you. And so Cormac, you can share your screen. I know you have some couple of pages slide to share with us. And actually, one of the panelists from Europe cannot be a part of us today. So I know you are going to talk about globally impact of COVID-19. So that'll be appreciated, and we highly expected that you can talk more in Europe. One of active market. So please, I'll deliver the microphone to you.
Yeah, thank you, Tiger, and thanks for the invitation. And it's been very interesting to hear all the views from all the panelists, and to get a great overview of what TBEA is doing in terms of some of your technology announcements and helping boost the usage of solar in the wider energy mix. So over the next 10 minutes or so, I've just got a few slides that IHS Markit has prepared. I think a lot of the panelists have covered, and we're kind of all aligned broadly on some of the key messages. So hopefully you can see my screen, and I think it's been acknowledged that yes, COVID-19, especially in Q1 and in Q2 of 2020, it's caused a disruption, and we're certainly seeing that you know, we've mentioned it today that it's across a lot of factors. If it's logistics in terms of transportation of goods, maybe a little bit of manufacturing in various countries. You know, it moved outside of China and it's into maybe Europe at the moment, where we've seen a little bit of disruption. Then we've also seen potential delays on financing. And I think one of the interesting developments that we've certainly seen is in terms of just, and Tiger, you mentioned this, you know, the low gas and oil prices are certainly making it a little bit more competitive, the market, in terms of solar being able to compete. But I think one of the factors that maybe is starting to help defend and still make solar very competitive is certainly a lot of the innovation that we've seen on display today, but also the costs of some of the components has continued to decrease, particularly even amongst modules. And one of the things I'm going to talk about in some of the next slides is a little bit about this, and I think Ahmed was speaking about it earlier, this kind of supply and demand situation that's kind of currently going on. And if I just talk briefly about the second point is that, you know, a lot of the fundamentals, why is solar so popular as an energy source haven't really changed. And I know that, yes, oil may be very cheap at the moment, but we've seen in a lot of parts of the world, not only in China and India, and even in Europe, I think consumers, the general public, and even governments are certainly very aware of the benefits. And as the world economy is kind of rebuilt, renewables, I think, is going to be one of the growth opportunities. And this is basically why you'll see that we kind of expect a relatively quick rebound and for solar installations to remain strong globally. And the message, broadly speaking, is that, yes, construction maybe has been delayed in the second quarter this year. But we see, and I think a lot of the panelists have mentioned now that construction rules have been relaxed and that laborers are getting maybe back to site, and manufacturing is generally getting back on stream. And yes, people and construction crews are being maybe a little bit more cautious. But in general, and especially I think for a lot of the people on the call today, utility scale solar has one of the big opportunities. So I'm just going to start by showing to you, and I'll try to explain this graph. So this is our 2020 forecast. And on the x-axis, you can see the size of the market in gigawatt. So for example, you know, the United States is approximately 16, 17 gigawatt in total, forecast to be installed. You can see some of the other markets, like India, which was mentioned on the call, Australia, Spain, Vietnam, Germany, just mentioning about Europe, remaining still multi-gigawatt markets. And then on the y-axis, you can see the percentage decrease. And what this basically means is that in quite a few markets, we've had to adjust our forecast for 2020 based on our previous forecast that we did in December last year. And you can see that China, we actually expect to grow, which is good news for some of the audience members. And that's because we think China will try and seize the opportunity. United States, I think it was briefly mentioned, certainly going to remain a strong market. And actually, we've seen very limited impact from a construction point of view, mainly for utility scale. We have seen on the residential side issues with getting access to homes. I think India, we have seen some issues at the beginning of the year, particularly relating to not actually a shortage of components being delivered to India. It's more from a point of view of some of them remaining at a port and not being able to be delivered maybe to site. So there's certainly no shortage at the moment of components. Just to touch a little bit, you mentioned about Europe. So the story is quite varied, or the situation across different markets in Europe. So Spain, if the audience don't know, it was a huge utility scale market in 2019, and that was really expected to continue in 2020, averaging around 4 gigawatt per year. What we've basically done is we don't expect too many cancellations at the moment, but I think in many markets across the world is what we're seeing is that if it's not going to be installed in 2020, it will be potentially installed later in 2021 or maybe in 2022 if it hasn't started or if there's issues relating to financing. The market will get more competitive because there's an abundance of gas in the Spanish market, and that's making solar tenders or PPAs quite competitive, and they're looking at maybe moving towards an auction system. Germany is still going relatively strong. For the audience members, it's typically a solar market for smaller systems, maybe from 750 kilowatt and below. So more maybe like a residential and commercial market. But the good news there is that there was a solar cap or limit of 52 gigawatt, and it seems the German government and the local bodies are starting to review relaxing that limit, and that will be good news for the market. And yeah, the Netherlands equally, and we've heard this across a lot of Northern European countries, that installations are still going broadly ahead, but there may be just a little bit of delays in getting access, maybe to homes if it's residential, and then in terms of physical distancing on utility scale solar. Yeah, so that's just a brief summary of some of the adjustments. And I should say, we anticipate that the global market will reduce around 12% compared to 2019, so around 109, 110 gigawatt. So it's still a huge market for solar this year. And we expect the market to return to growth, and I'm going to show you a little bit about that later. Just to give you, and I think, Tiger, you were mentioning this about Australia. So this is just outlining the top 10 markets and how much they account for this 109 gigawatt that we're estimating or forecasting. It's obviously still very a fluid situation, so we're tracking, Q1 and Q2 installations as we speak. We've mentioned a little bit about most of the markets. Basically, the top 5 anyway haven't really changed in terms of the main markets. So China, United States, India, Japan, Australia. With respect to Europe, the big markets continue to be Germany, Netherlands, and Spain. And we shouldn't forget that even in Asia, you can see how many markets are dominated by this region. And we're last year and continuing this year, Vietnam is expected to be still a relatively big market. South Korea generally remaining strong. And then, as the panelists were mentioning, in the rest of the world, that still accounts maybe a little under a fifth of the market, and distributed across the Middle East, Latin America, and Southeast Asia. I just want to talk maybe for a minute or so on kind of what's going on at the moment, and what are kind of the longer term drivers for not just solar, but also for wind, maybe battery energy storage. So on the left hand side, you can see kind of in the orange or yellow circles some of the challenges or what we call impediments that are kind of going on at present because of the impact of COVID-19. And we have talked about it a little bit today. So we've talked about reduction in energy demand because of less transportation, less commercial activity. In certain markets, I'm starting to go around the circle. So the exchange rate volatility is impacting maybe certain projects if they haven't started construction. And we're starting to see this a little bit in Latin America. We mentioned a little bit in some markets, maybe like even the Middle East, where policy may shift away from renewables in the short term because of very low oil or gas prices. But this is the hard one for everyone to call or kind of advise or be strategic about. Personally, I think the green bubbles, which we'll talk about, will kind of outweigh the short term. We had at the beginning supply chain disruptions, but I think generally they've been starting to ease. Maybe with certain countries that have borders still closed, it still is a little bit challenging. We talked about low prices. So we highlighted one market such as Spain with low gas. And we also talked about maybe in certain markets, the appetite for investing in renewables. They need more, maybe they need to work, there might be more conditions about working with more tier one suppliers or who are involved in projects, so that they are challenges. But these I think are mainly, hopefully just short term, the first half of 2020. So what's happening right now? We expect energy demand to return to growth. Maybe not what it once was, and maybe not a V-shaped recovery, but a little bit slower. The technology, this has definitely been outlined this morning. So we're seeing more bifacial modules, we're seeing larger inverters, we're seeing inverters that can act as the brains of the system and work with grid, more enhanced grid functionality. And maybe projects hedging their costs a bit better. And then just macro governmental issues such as how to tackle climate change, and solar is one of those. I then just want to talk about what's the situation with respect to the longer term. So you can see here, these are the next 3 years. We're trying to keep it kind of short in terms of the time horizon. The situation is that as I mentioned, we expect a short decrease in 2020. And then we expect a relatively quick rebound in 2021, and the market to actually exceed 2019. So the market to be around 140 gigawatts. And you can see the outline of what we previously in December were expecting. So to kind of give you a feeling for maybe how much we have reduced global market potential. And everyone is trying to gauge across all the different markets how much of the projects will maybe move into different years. And basically, by 2022, we expect the market to continue growing based on a lot of these drivers that I spoke to earlier, so around 160 gigawatts. So overall, 2021 and 2022, if we achieve these numbers, these will continue to be record installations. And just to exemplify, in 2019, this was the biggest year for solar on record. And equally, even in Europe, we saw a return to growth. And probably the biggest winners initially, to kind of end on a positive note, will be primarily utility scale solar, where governments can kind of prioritize or maybe accelerate or give extensions if required. The distributed generation might find it a bit slower to recover, because they're connected with maybe commercial and industrial customers, or maybe households who maybe have less money. But overall, a good opportunity for utility scale solar over the next few years. So I'll pause there, Tiger, and hand back to you. You're maybe on mute.
From HS Market, you can just leave your email address, at the chat area, and our backstage will write it down to send to all of attendees after the meeting. Also, this slide will be linked to our official website. You can go to look over then. Yeah. Thank you, Cormac. So let's back to Mr. Kazi. I'm sorry, I just cut you off. You can move on. On your topic. I'm sorry to cut you off.
Thank you. I just need to have 1 minute. I just tell you that we have in the province 45 hospitals. They are fighting for the direct COVID situation, isolation centers, and so on. We have a World Bank project for public sector rooftop building solar project. World Bank has consented a new development of RFP in the situation of the post-COVID for expeditious deployment of the solar. So hopefully by the next month, we are going to solarize those 45 hospitals on expeditious movement by relaxing some procurement rules, by changing some procurement regulations and so on for the expeditious installation. So that's a positive sign for this post-COVID-19 situation. This I need to share with all. Thank you.
All right, thank you for sharing with us this very great info. I hope if someone from Huawei or Sangro in our webinar they get it as well. Yeah, that would be a very good opportunity in coming days. So let's see how TBEA can perform on this project. Thank you, Mr. Kazi. Thank you. So we have done all of the panelists and the panel discussions so far. So thank you for all of the distinguished panelists, and thank you, Cormac, Mr. Kazi, Mr. Gausen, Ben, and Mezo, and Marat. Thanks for your time and thanks for your effort. So I'm going to give back the control to Eric. Eric.
Well, thank you, Mr. Liu, and thank you to all the panelists. Clearly, TBEA has quite an international team, and thanks to all of your united efforts, TBEA survives and thrives. Now we're going to give the last session TBEA's global team. Let's listen to what they have to say.
I'm Zhang Ji in Aswan, Egypt, united with TBEA. We will be more powerful.
I'm at Madrid, Spain, united with TBEA. We will be more powerful.
Hola, soy Daniel, estoy en Chile.
I'm Charlene, I'm in France.
Ciao, sono Mia, sono in Italia. Здравствуйте, я vivo в Украине.
Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. It's me, Sophia, free to be. Ana jambang ila jambima TV. Sana kunu ekwa.
I am Ray in Dubai. Together with TBEA, we are more powerful.
สวัสดีครับ ผมทศพลสว่างพักดูแลรับผิดชอบตลาดในประเทศไทยด้วยความร่วมมือร่วมใจกันของพวกเรา TBEA เราจะกลับมาแข็งแกร่งมากขึ้นขอบคุณครับ
I am in India, united with TBEA. We will be more powerful.
Tôi là Võ Hồng Minh tại Việt Nam, cùng đoàn kết với TBEA.
I am Irfan Jamil in Pakistan, united with TBEA. We will be more powerful.
I am Rizal de Chua in the Philippines. Pinagbuklod ng TBEA. Tayo ay magiging makapangyarihan.
I'm Chris. I'm in Dubai now. Together with TBEA, we think we will reach a bright new future.
Okay, As I said before, today is a very special day in China. It's Chinese Valentine's Day. 520 is Wu Er Ling, which sounds like I love you in Chinese. And I think that's the intention of the organizers of this event, is to show their affection to our customers and partners all around the world. I want to thank you all for your time and your patience for the past couple of hours. United with TBEA, we will be more powerful. I hope everyone who attends this event has more powerful and kind of difficulties and embrace an even brighter future. At the end of the event, there will be a short customer survey. We appreciate it if you take another minute for filling out that form. For those of you who came late to the event, you can retrieve the video from the same link that you used to watch the whole event. We look forward to our next virtual meeting. I want to thank you all. Goodbye from Shanghai, China.